Hey guys, so I just wanted to talk about this Northshore Supreme product right here. This is what the Northshore Supreme looks like after a night of overnight usage. Now, this came out a long time ago, I think. I don't know what year, if you look it up on Google. I thought that they came out around 2001, 2002. Northshore is a company. There's a story behind the person who started it up. But I'm not sure if this is like the first product that he or she or they came out with, but I'm thinking it is possibly one of the original. I remember when I first started wearing overnight briefs or diapers, there wasn't much out there. There was like the Tenna Maxi, but you had to import that. It was expensive. Of course, they didn't have that in Canada or USA. As well as there was like, for the ABDL ones, I think all there was like the Bambino. Do you guys know Bambino? And it had like the teddy print on the front landing strip, or it had, I forget what the other one was. It was like a blue label. It was called Bellissimo. And I thought there was a third one, but I don't think at that time that the Bambino, they might have had the plain. Yeah, they might have had plain. I don't remember, but there wasn't much out, especially for ABDL diapers. But I'm thinking that this might have been around since before Bambino, possibly, if the company did start in the early 2000s. And let's just take a look at this, because we're so used to the Megamax Northshore, and I also know that there's like an American, made in America one now. I live in Canada. I haven't had access to those, so I don't know how those are. I can't say for sure. And they also had the Northshore Supreme Light. I think it was called Light, or the Northshore Light, or something like that. Pretty sure it had Supreme in the title. But those ones, I thought they came in a plain white like this, possibly. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know they came in like a purple and a blue and maybe a green. And basically the Northshore Supreme Lights are the exact like copy of the Supreme. Same product, but they were thinner. They were called the Light. And the plastic felt exactly like this. They were built exactly the same. This is kind of a thinner plastic, whereas the Megamaxes have a thicker plastic. Now the padding on this, when you go to put it on, is very stiff. And I know that some YouTube people have been saying that review diapers say to fluff it up. Now I fluffed up my Rear's diapers a good handful of times. And I found that when I did the fluff, like exactly how some of the diaper reviewers had to do it, like fold it in the middle and kind of, scrunch it. And then they will also like twist it like that, if you know what I mean. And I found with the Rear's diapers and a couple of other brands as well, that causes the padding to just fall apart. So it does fluff them up and it does loosen the padding, but it can also compromise your padding. So be aware of that. And it might be certain manufacturers that happens to, but yeah, that's also kind of you could be doing yourself in by fluffing them up. So even though this has a stiff padding, I cannot recommend for sure to fluff them up for these guys. But these here, if they become like fully saturated, you walk around a lot, they can clump up and the padding can fall apart. This is much like what you would see from a Bina or Molicare. Do you guys remember the purple Molicare diapers? I think they're now blue. I forget what the level of absorbency, what they call them, but used to be purple. And these are very much the same feeling when they're wet. So I got the used one here just to show you. So it's not so much like an SAP. It's like a little bit of SAP with more like paper pulp, I guess you would call it. It's more cottony feeling, very stiff. It's like kind of lumpy when you touch it. Similar, if you've tried the Abina M4, you know what I'm talking about. It has that like kind of, like it doesn't really, I mean, I guess it does get thicker, but not as thick if it were like a Rear's with SAP or a lot of the ABDL diapers. I prefer the high level of SAP content because they absorb more in general and they don't fall apart as much, I find, and just more absorbent, yeah. Where this one is, it's pretty absorbent. It would have been really absorbent at the time in the mid 2000s or early 2000s, whenever it came out. It would have been super high capacity, but compared to what they have coming out now with the ABDL diapers and the Megamax and stuff, these are really on the lower end of absorbency if we're talking in terms of today. But you know, back then they did have the premium features. So essentially what we're looking here, I'm going to call it a vintage diaper that they're still making today, which is, I guess, kind of cool. But they have the inner leg gathers, which are pretty low actually, very low, and the outer leg gathers are very high. And not overly scrunchy, not overly scrunched, but you have a little scrunch right there. I mean, they do have some of the premium features, just not as good as what they're making today. For example, what I like to wear a lot is Rears products when they go on sale. Those Rears products are a lot more premium. An advantage this is going to have over, say, a modern Rears with the frontal plastic landing zone as Rears have, is that there's no like reinforced plastic here. So when this is up against your skin, it's not all crumply, it's super smooth on the inside. Frequent diaper wearers will know what I'm talking about with that. These have the second chance tapes, and of course there's a downside to checking second chance tapes, is that you have to place them perfectly. You have to know where to put them every time, and there's no tape guide. Like the modern In Control diapers, some of them have a tape guide, which is super handy, so you know where to place it every time, but these do not have that, so you have to know. So really, you only have one chance to stick them on. You may be able to stick the blue on, and if you can pull it off right away very carefully, you could readjust it. But most of the time, that's not going to be the case. Most of the time, you have to use the second chance, which it's super inconvenient because then you cannot tape on the blue portion. So if the blue portion is stuck right here, you either have to go in and risk ripping the front of the diaper or the side, or you have to go out and then the diaper is too loose. So the second chance tapes are kind of useless, kind of an emergency thing in my opinion. But you know, it was a premium feature of the diapers at the time before the frontal plastic reinforced landing zone situation. But this diaper did hold me up overnight. It did hold up overnight rather. And it did the job, and it was fairly comfortable. I could feel, you know, quite a bit of bulk between my legs. Some of the newer, like I find the little for big diapers, you don't feel them so much in between your legs. I find the Rears diapers, when they get full, you do feel them between your legs. There's the Rears Amutsu Perfection. It's a little bit, I think it's a lesser absorbency. Someone was asking me if it absorbs as much as the Mega diapers, which I don't even know what Mega diaper means. I've never seen that, but I think they said it was like on the Rears website or something like that. But if we're saying Mega is in like 11,000 ml advertised absorbency, the Omutsus are not that. So I find the lower absorbency Rears diapers tend to be quite a bit more comfortable between the legs. And whereas I'm a guy and I have space pods, you know, and rockets, if you know what I'm talking about, it does get pretty squished and compacted down there. So it's nice to have a lower absorbency diaper with some more flexible material. And so that's pretty much it for the look at this. Besides, let's take a look. You guys probably want to know. The front has no elastication for this vintage style Northshore. But it does at the back, which is very nice. So at least they give you something. And of course, these are terrific for bowel containment as well. So yeah, not as good or as absorbent as like modern day ABDL diapers, but still way better, like 30 times better than anything you can find at a grocery store or a pharmacy typically. So I just wanted to talk about what's going on with our weather. It's been fire. You can't really see the smoke, but you can smell the smoke, I'll tell you, and some days it's super thick. I just figured something out. I've developed chronic sinusitis over the last winter, so 2024 going into 2025. I didn't know what the heck was going on. And basically, it's when your sinuses are totally screwed. But I thought about it. Let's go outside again. And I'm damn sure it's from the smoke that we've had. And I'm not even exaggerating. I swear. Like, I can remember since 2013, fire smoke. Just every friggin' summer, almost every summer, maybe not every summer. I live in northern Alberta. Look it up on Google Maps. I live in Fort McMurray, Alberta. It's super northern, you know, compared to anywhere in the States. And even in Canada, it's crazy north. Friggin' fire smoke every summer. And that's probably what did me in. I think it's affecting a lot of other people, but most people don't complain. Most people don't know any better that the air is like wrecking their health, causing all kinds of serious chronic conditions. But yeah, it sucks. So I'm just trying to wear a dust mask when I can, when I go outside, because this is brutal. Like, my ears hurt. nostrils are sore throat. You can probably even hear my voice sounds a bit drier or rough or manly or whatever. But yeah, that's from the smoke, and I'm totally fed up with it. If it's not smoky here, there's mosquitoes everywhere and black flies. And if it's not that, it's winter and it's minus 40 Celsius, even minus 45 Celsius. If you look that up in Fahrenheit, not sure what that is because I'm Canadian. But anyways, that's it. That's my little complaint for today. I'm not going outside. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm stuck inside all summer. Luckily, I don't have any real mental health issues. I mean, if I did, I'd probably be losing it. But I'm sure it's affecting some people's mental health, not able to go outside comfortably. And the ones that do go outside and don't think about it, they're not too smart because it's pretty dangerous out there. If you're going out there every day, I mean, shit, look, I got chronic sinusitis. And the doctor said that doesn't go away, so that kind of sucks. Lucky to be alive, I guess. The world we live in, okay. Anyways, that's the Northshore Supreme review. All right, bye.